Hello, beautiful bastards. The name is Wolf, and welcome back to my Melee Shaman. If you're here for the lightning version, you can check out the previous video, which has an updated planner in the description box. You can pop off on that. Some LP items have been added to kind of give you a chase idea. But yes, this is an experimental physical version. Although, having that said, I can already tell that the damage is significantly higher, even though we're still using some of our gear as lightning, because I haven't found physical replacements for that yet. And already the damage is higher, as I said. So how is this working? As you can see, we're mostly using Tempest Strike, but we're still creating charges. And that's the secret. We're still using Stormbolt as the source of our main damage, but we're now applying it with Tempest Strike. Tempest Strike is a wonderful note that expends charges. Doesn't generate it, expends it. We're actually charging our charges, so to speak, with Thorn Totems. We have a double idle setup right now, and then we can allow those Thorn Totems after the initial spark by a single hit of Gathering Storm to essentially charge up our Gathering Storm bolts and then spend those with Tempest Strike. Now, Tempest Strike summons more totems, so that will artificially inflate the attack speed of those totems, giving us more charges but also more armor shred. And you can kind of see how this comes together, right? We'll go through it a little bit more in the planner section, but yes, it looks like this might ultimately end up being a much stronger version in terms of damage and possibly more tanked as well as a result of, let's say, something like Hazelroot giving us more armor stacks, which is something we can scale then as well, and also gets us a little bit more damage because the Thorn Shield mechanic. But yes, let's go through the planner and see if we can perhaps illuminate even better improvements on this experimental pivot. Let me walk you through the build. Time codes below. Let's go through the armor first. We have some Tusk Great Helm goodness for the Leech, some attunement, that is what we are stacking, some spell damage. We want 2 reduced bonus damage taken from critical strike affixes, which in combination with the implicit will cap us. We will sacrifice flat health, never hybrid health or percentage health on it. Or if we are lucky, we can maybe find like a tier 6 or a tier 7, depending on how the numbers end out. You might end up capping yourself through that as well with only 1 mod. But yes, for now though, tier 5 double mod should be fine. Bone Amulet, some spell damage, crit multi, shred armor, health. You could opt for frailty there if you don't have the relic. Hazelroot is nice. In a perfect world, you want to get a massive spell damage with spell mana cost. This does not work on the bolt, but it does work on everybody else. Or it does work on everything else in your build that is a spell. So that helps out quite wonderfully. And the spell damage is really, really nice. Otherwise, you can just opt for a base scepter, like a Obsidian Scepter, and get some melee attack speed on that as well. That would be good. You can get some really good mods on that. So don't worry. I just happen to have an LP Hazelroot. I also have an LP Cleaver solution. This is the one that I have in Life. It's really nice. But if you don't have a similar or better one, you can opt instead for a better crit multi sword, the Katana, which gives you a hell of a lot of crit multi. You can get a lot of damage out of here. I think in the end, I'm going to end up with a Katana, simply because of we are being crit capped, and crit multi is really, really powerful for us. So, having that said, in terms of the chest, Greatwood Coat is good for damage, but Maruna and Ancestral are really good for tank, more health or more armor. Cooldown recovery is definitely something you should not be sleeping on. But other than that, yes, Gathering Storm levels, obviously, it's our source of damage. Attunement, health, and percentage health. We have the Predatorian Belt for more armor. Fizz damage, Cleanse button, hybrid, and percentage health. We have double opals for attunement, spell damage, and health. And then either one has 1 resistance, which allows us to optimize our totems, or sorry, our idols a lot better, which is very, very good. We have the Eternal Gauntlets here, with attack speed, attunement, shred, and hybrid health. The mandatory boots here for the reduced bonus damage taken from critical strikes are very good, also very high on armor. We pick up some attunement and movement speed as high as we can. We pick up the second mod in this planner at least for the reduced bonus damage taken from critical strikes and some more hybrid health. And then the relic is interesting because we can go with a relic like this, which would be really, really good, but you can also opt for a dedication of an erased primalist, because if you can get some good mods on it, like let's say attunement and health, maybe some frailty, warcry levels, depending on how it rolls, it would be really, really nice, because the primalist skills +1 is great, but also less damage over time taken from slowed enemies is very, very good, because we get 1 extra skill point here, which can mean that we tech in the slow chance immediately through our Maelstrom. because chill chance turns into slow chance after all. So we get a free slow chance built in, so we always have that maelstrom around us that makes it so that we take less damage over time from enemies that are slowed, which is really, really good. But yeah, you do need to find one. I only have found erased sentinels so far. So, and not only do you have to find one, you have to get one that also rolls really well. So, I don't know, maybe you're lucky. I am not so far. Anyway, we spoke about optimizing our idols. The only two that are mandatory are the big ones with a chance on hit to summon a Thorn Totem. You have some flexibility on the suffix as well. You can go with spell damage. That's probably the highest damage one you can get. There's some resistances options, but you also have shared physical damage, or if you want more tank, increased aspect of the boar is not something to scoff at as well. Other than that, everything else is just essentially health and damage mods, or double health mods, or armor and health mods. So if you need more resistances of a certain type, don't forget we are Shaman, so we get 50% for totems that are being up. Elemental res at least. You can just opt for more resistances or anything else that you might need to make your build function. A lot of flexibility there, which is really, really nice. In terms of the blessings, physical doesn't really have that many good ones. We do pick up the Fizz Res Shred, but other than that, we pick up armor, poison res, and void res, which helps with gearing a lot. And then we have a bit of a weird one here. We could opt for something else. As you can see, the lightning res is at 24, so with the totem, which is up all the time, because you can also cast totems manually still during transition phases to keep your resistance high. You can keep it up to 74, which is what most people think is more than enough. So you could also just go for like stun chance or maybe some health regen, you know, if you want to have that going, which is nice for sustain, maybe some ward per second, who knows? It's up to you. Otherwise, lightning res is just easy, set and forget. It is up to you. So that's it is for the idols, blessings, and equipment. In terms of the skills where the magic happens, Gathering Storm is our source of damage, even though we're not using it, because we're summoning the stacks with Friends of the Tempest. We do have to hit Gathering Storm once to get that first stack, and then the totems will go from there. This is lightning based, but as you can see, if you convert it to physical, which we do over here with Earth Smasher, our Earth totems or our Thorn totems, which are currently physical, will take it from there. However, there's also a cold angle, but right now at the time of this recording, cold is bugged. I repeat, cold is bugged. If they fix it, I might explore it. There's some really cool stuff you can do with Warcry and such, and maybe some Frostbite action, which is not too bad. But until then, physical is the way to go. We are picking up pretty much most of the same talents we had on the Lightning version, including Rending Vortex, which is mandatory, and Lightning Strikes Twice is really, really strong. Other than that, we pick up the Two-Eyed Storm and Excited Bolts because I have the minus mana cost. If you don't have that, you can unspec Two-Eyed Storm and put this in more damage or more attack. No, not more attack speed. More Storm Bolt chance for AoE or just more single target damage. And that should be okay. Give or take. You have to kind of mess around with this because Excited Bolt is a weird one. It makes the build feel really good in terms of damage, but it also makes it feel really bad in terms of mana drain. So it's a balancing act that you kind of have to find yourself with, because the faster you kill, the less bolts will spawn, the less mana consumption, right? So it's like this weird mana regen, mana reduction, damage balancing act you have to deal with. Anyway, Tempest Strike will facilitate some of the goodness. If you have the minus mana cost, you can probably take some of the special here. Now, there's a melee skill, but I believe the Tempests are actually considered spells. I'm not entirely sure. But yes, if they are, you can actually spec like this. Otherwise, you have to unspec the two here and get the Calm Seas and get some more AoE. This is what I'm currently running on life, and it feels really good. We have insane levels of attack speed. We get like decent levels of Gladiator of Lagon. And more importantly, we have the Sky Opener right here, which expends the storm stacks on hit. Once again, the storm stacks are generated through our totems. Once we have the initial hit through Gathering Storm, our totems, we summon them with +4 for a total of, sadly, 5, because we lose one here with Grove Mind, but that's worth it. We pick up 5 points of shred armor made possible to the Cleaver solution. Otherwise, we run 4 out of 5, because we do have to pick up Titan's Bane down here, as well as Spriggan's Wrath for the at least 1 pierce. The Warcry is lovely. I do like Whirlpool and Purging Shout together with Shallow Breath being mandatory. Other than that, if you don't have the excess levels from the relic, you can either opt for battle cry to get yourself crit capped every single time you cry, or you can go and go for the fury strikes for more attack speed. It's dealer's choice. However, if you don't go battle cry, you do have to get some crit on your gear to make it a little smoother and a little bit more reliable. Other than that, yes, this is probably one of my favorite setups so far for this build if you have the +4. Just keep that in mind. And then Maelstrom to kick things off with, or to end it with, we have the mandatory haste, the mandatory frenzy. We are picking up the power of the storm for the storm bolts. We are maximizing our AoE. And then, of course, we cyclone that to make it physical, which helps better for the Maelstrom. And then we get a bunch of stun chance here at the end, which is really nice because we have a lot of Maelstrom stacks. So we have a lot of dodge, a lot of stun. Very, very nice. And this is the node right here, Arctic Chill, that turns into slow. If you wanted to use that right now, you can already do that. Or you can just wait for the relic, and then you can just spec the Arctic Chill, because that turns it into slow. Yes, that's kind of how that works. In terms of the passive, to finish the video, we have the mandatory Gift of the Wilderness achievement, mandatory Harmony of Blades, and Hunter's Restoration. Just lots of health, and we need it. Beastmaster tax, obviously. We have the Druid for the Druidic Prowess set bonus, or point bonus, sorry, because we are stat stacking. And then we have the Shaman. The only one that I'm not really concerned, that I'm not sure about, is the Tempest form. But yes, we do pick up Shamanistic Infusion and the totem buffs right here at the bottom. The Tempest form I'm not sure about is because we are not actively using Gathering Storm anymore. But I do like the Shock and Chill chance. But if I can get those reliably from other sources, I might turn them into Earth and Supremacy, or maybe Logonian Wrath, or maybe just Storm. No, not Stormbringer. Yeah, I have to turn them around, either Logonian Wrath or Earth and Supremacy. I'm kind of messing around with it, so we'll find out how that works out. Rune of Oz, really good for spell damage, though. Really good. Dervish into Rhythm of Thunder, which is less exciting, but it does give us access to Thunderstrike, which is very exciting, especially with the set bonus or point bonus. Conflux. We want at least 5 points in here. We do want 5 points in Elemental Shrines to get mana regen, and then also 8 out of 8 points for Ascended Circle, because that gives us a bunch of spell damage for active totems, and we have a bunch of those, right? So that's kind of how it all works together. I'm still tinkering. I'm not sure about anything just yet, but if you were just excited for the Lightning version, once again, I'll put a link in the description box below if you want the Lightning version. I did update the planner there with an extra link to a more advanced version with some LP items and such if you're feeling particularly frisky. But other than that, this is currently my work, so to speak. I'm going to continue to tinker and see if I can maybe find some better gear, maybe some exciting LP items to really make this boy shine. Because there's literally dozens of us melee shamans, and we deserve some love too. So, thank you so much for watching. Have a good night. Take care. And I am out.